Thank you all for coming. My name is Kyle Burkett. I am with the San Jose Public Library, and I am here to present on what San Jose Public Library does to encourage young authors and illustrators, and also upcoming authors and illustrators. Unfortunately, I was supposed to have a co-presenter with me today who is not able to join us. So I'm going to be filling in for her, and I'm going to try to do my best to get through the material that she was going to present as well. So my name is Kyle Burkett. Excuse me. I am a senior librarian with the San Jose Public Library, as I mentioned, and you can find me on the 3rd floor at the King Library downtown. I am the manager of King Public Reference and Resources, and then my co-presenter Jessica. She works in Teenage Q, so she's a huge teen comics reader. She does a lot of programming for teenagers, for youth, and she's been part of this program with me for the last 7 years, I believe. And so we've been doing this for quite a long time. So I'm going to go through sort of the history of the contest. I'm going to go through like the nitty gritty in terms of how like we structure it, what everyone does, and sort of like some of the add-ons that we've developed over the years that are our part that have sort of made this contest more fun. So I started with San Jose in 2018, and the graphic novel making contest at that point was already well established. The contest has, we just finished our 16th year of the graphic novel making contest, and it started, as many things in libraries do, with like no budget, and it was just a passion project with a financial librarian who just noticed that like all of the kids at their library branch were getting more and more into graphic novels and manga, and just wanted to kind of engage with them and create something for them. And we actually had a bookmark contest. So there was a bookmark designing contest that was like well received, and we got a bunch of art from these kids, and it turned out it was all very, very like high quality. We were surprised at how good the quality was, and so they, at that point in time, elected to start an actual contest. And yeah, it's grown. The 16th year, we had the celebration, the award ceremony every year. This year, we moved it for the first time to City Hall, and we had 360 people that showed up to participate in the award ceremony. We usually get around 200 to 300 entries for the contest every year, and yeah, it's going on. It's going very strong. So the program started in 2008. As I said, and it was just because they noticed that the teens were into the graphic novels that we had in the library. And then the very next year, due to the response that we got just from teens, we decided to make it a system-wide program. So in 2009, it was the first time where it was every single library branch. We have 25 branches of the library in San Jose, so every branch participated, and we encouraged, different supportive programs, writing workshops, that kind of things at all of our different locations in the months of June and July. So, and it went well, and so we just kept doing it. In 2010, we decided to open the contest up to everyone. We actually had adults that were interested in submitting, and we wanted to create sort of like an avenue for everyone to create their own original work and submit it and get feedback and improve. And so we opened it up. Every year since 2010, we have created a collection of all of the submissions that we get. So they're collected into a booklet that we have printed special every year, and then we make that available to the public throughout the library system. So the fun part about this is that everyone that participates gets to say that they're a published comic creator at the end of it. So, they can brag to all their friends, and they can check out their materials if they just go down to the library with their card. In 2013, we started to get a lot more submissions. For whatever reason, it just started to pick up, and especially with sort of middle grades. And so like our bread and butter is really like 8, 9, 10 to like 12-year-olds. And we get tons of submissions from these age ranges. So in 2013, we decided to move the location that had just been in the general library space for a long time, and we actually moved it into the Seven Trees Community Center, which is a fairly large community room. It holds up to 400 people, and we had it in the Seven Trees Community Center for many years until pandemic, and then everything had to go virtual. We also started in 2013, we started reaching out to local talent and inviting them to participate in the contest as judges. And so different local artists, we had the city's art director has been a judge every year for the last 10 years, I think. So we got a lot of community involvement starting around 2013. In 2015, we kind of got really lucky. And so I think, I don't know if you're all familiar with Gene Yang, but at that point in time, I think American Born Chinese had come out, and he was getting a lot of press. And he is an avid library supporter and user. And so we got him as our guest speaker for our awards in 2015. We had a huge turnout. At that point in time, he was also the national ambassador of children's literature. So it was a big get for us, and we almost broke the Seven Trees Community Center. It almost could not handle the amount of people that we had there. But at that point in time, due to the reception, the library and the city decided to make it like a permanent part of library programming. And so we actually got a budget line, which was awesome. So we actually had some money for the first time after that. And then for the next few years, we just kept working on it, promoting it. We were doing cons. We were going out every opportunity we could to kind of get the word out. 2018, we hit our 10th year, which was pretty great. And then in 2019, via some connections that we had through the American Library Association's graphic novels roundtable, comics and graphic novels roundtable, we were able to get connected to DC Comics. And we actually got a sponsorship for several years from DC Comics. And so this library card was an original design that they did for the San Jose Public Library during that time in 2019. So we are the only library. And if you are not San Jose resident, or if you've never been to the San Jose Public Library, we have lots of different card designs, and a lot of them are very popular. And this was a limited run, and I think we don't sell out because we don't sell anything, but we got rid of all of them within a matter of like a month, something like that. So it was very cool. It was very cool to see. We also had that year Mariko Tamaki, who wrote for Wonder Woman. She's very, very nice, and we had to go pick her up from the airport. She is not particularly she doesn't like to travel very much, so it was a pretty fun experience. But she did a great presentation. She had just recently published a run on Harley Quinn, I believe, so it was really, really fun to see that. And then came 2020 and the pandemic, and so we had to move everything to virtual. And so we had to kind of bridge that gap and figure out like what we were going to do, how we were engaged with our people, the community that we had locally at that point in time. So as part of that, during the pandemic, we created a one-time winter comic making contest. We have a table upstairs across from the marketplace, and there's a little machine. It's called a short edition dispenser, and it dispenses random stories from collections that we put together just at the press of a button. So if you want to see some of the winter comics that were generated, you can make a stop at the table up there and you can hit the button. I encourage you to do so. It was kind of fun because it challenged our authors to think about writing and to think about their comics in like a different kind of way, because typically this was done with like 8.5 by 11 paper like a normal, and it would be an 8-page comic that they would submit. This was like they had to do it on receipt paper. in a specific format. And so I think some of them were really, the way that they wrote the stories was really innovative. It was great to see the creativity that we had in this community. Very cool. So take a stop by the table if you want to see that. We have the examples set for that. In 2022, we started to see some signs of things coming back in person, which was great. So we were able to attend the very first outreach that we were able to do was Fanime. And then as we were coming back, we were trying to think about ways to re-engage with the community. And so we started Cosplay on Display, which has been going since 22. It's not like a contest, but we do feature anyone that submits their photos in the awards ceremony at the end of the year. And we'll display them on the library's website, that kind of thing for our cosplayers. But we just wanted to kind of encourage a more con-like vibe at our programs, and that was a good way to do it. And we've had cosplay as a part of the award ceremony that we do at the end of the year, every year since then. And then this year was really the first year I feel like this contest has gotten back to what it was prior to the pandemic. We had 360 people that came to the award ceremony. We were able to move it to San Jose City Hall, which was very cool. And it was a very different experience for the people that have participated, because it was way more of like a red carpet style kind of experience. I think everybody really enjoyed it. And yeah, City Council actually supported the contest. They voted to let us use City Hall for our contest, which was pretty awesome. So that's kind of the history of the contest, where we have been, and then I'm going to get into sort of the fundamentals as well, how we describe them of the contest. So our contest, it's open to all ages. We have several different age groups, so you can see on the right-hand side there, we broke them down, so 0 through 7, 8 and 9, 10 to 12. So we have found that we have to divide those two categories, like it used to be 8 through 12, I think, and we just got way too many submissions. So we have to break them into two. So we have to do children 8 and 9, 10 to 12, then we have teens, and we have our adults. You can submit contest entries either in person at any of our 25 library locations. You can send them to the email address that we have, which is just graphicnovels@sjlibrary.org. Or we also have a form that we have created that is online. So we use SurveyMonkey as a basis, but you can submit your comic through SurveyMonkey now at this point. The comic is an 8-page original comic, so they can't use any kind of like copyrighted materials. It's got to be in black and white or grayscale due to the reproduction of it when we print it. So when we put it into the booklets that we print out. We also have online collections now where we add their entries. So we use a product called Biblioboard. I'll talk about that a little bit more, and also the short edition machines now, and that's a different format. They are limited to amateur authors and illustrators only. So if you make money, if you make your living doing comics, you can't submit. But if you won like a contest 20 years ago or something, we're not going to hold it against you. So we're pretty lenient about it, but we want it to be for amateur authors or up and coming authors and illustrators. It's only California residents. And we actually will take submissions now in English, Spanish, or Vietnamese, which has been pretty interesting. And we will do like a English translation of the comics if they come in a different language, just so that they're more accessible for everyone to be able to read them too. So the judging is a huge part of this, and we get a lot of community involvement in our judging now. It started out as just library staff who were kind of doing it in their free time. Now it's a mix of library staff, it's professional artists, and then community art members. So like the city's art director, we also have sort of an ongoing partnership with San Jose State University, and a lot of their students will participate in the contest. We also have a lot of them host the supportive programming that so they can, the people that participate in the contest can learn about storyboarding or just techniques for illustration and how comics are assembled. A lot of the organizations that have sponsored us, so one of the biggest ones that we have is Sakura of America, and they make art supplies if you're not familiar with them. But they've been a sponsor since I think for 11 years now, 11 or 12 years. And a lot of their staff will participate as judges for this contest now. And we get a lot of people that come back year to year. There is a kind of a big time ask, usually depending on what category you get. If you're a judge, if you judge like the middle groups, maybe like 8 and 9, it could take 6, 7, 8 hours over the course of a week. You might have like 50 or 60 comics to read through and score. But we also we try to be transparent about all that time commitment that it requires. But we're always recruiting judges for this in June and July. Is typically when it happens. The contest runs for all of June and July, and then the awards ceremony typically happens in the first week of September, first weekend in September, or second weekend in September, just depending on scheduling for our library director. Everyone gets feedback for their comics, so everyone is able to take a lesson from their submissions, and we try to give people constructive feedback things that they can work on so that they can improve their skills. We find that we get a lot of people that submit year to year, and it's been really fun to see how, you might have a 3-year-old who's been in this contest for 5 years, and just how the evolution of their artwork, the evolution of their storytelling is very cool to see. For the sake of consistency, we always have 4 to 5 judges judge each age group. And then we use a scoring system that we've developed over time. We also will have a sort of deliberation session at the end for the judges. So a lot of times we find that if you start judging, like, your perspective on what you're judging changes once you've seen like 10 of these comics. You might not, you might think that the average skill level of like a 4th grader or something, it's kind of hard to determine. They're a little all over the place. But we want to make sure that we're consistent in the judging, and that we also, the deliberation process allows the judges to talk and work through these comics, and like maybe there's something they didn't think about or a different perspective, and change the scoring. So they make that determination at the end together as a group. This is the judging scorecards that we use. They have evolved. So you can see the one on top is the older version. The one on bottom is what we currently use. It used to just be out of 10 points. But we found that every year that we would do this, we would get parents asking us to provide more clear feedback in like a wider range of different areas. And so I think it was maybe 6 or 7 years ago, we redid the scorecards, and we sort of expanded on what we were asking for. We changed the scoring system, so it's now 50-point system, and there's actually an entire there's a rubric that we will use that has a bunch of different criteria that we're looking for when we actually score these. And you can find that rubric we post that so that everybody understands what they're getting into when they start. So then we were cruising along, we were doing pretty good, and then we hit pandemic, and everything changed. And so we had to think of, basically on the fly, how we were actually going to adapt and what we were going to do. So for us, it was really transitioning to Zoom for our purposes was kind of the best option that we had, and we did a lot of these programs as webinars. And then with the virtual training, we created virtual scorecards, and we were able to prep everything and put them into like Google folders so that we could just send them out. And we found that all of the judges really liked that. They liked it better than the like in-person deliberating that we had done in the past. So we have kept that going forward. Yeah, so they're given about 6 to 7 days to read, score, and then everyone is required to leave feedback on the entries that they read for people. And then we set up a virtual lounge for all of the judges to do their deliberation. And typically we go first through third, but we do have we give the judges the ability to assign honorable mentions to anything that they think is notable for any kind of certain reason. In the past, like, we've had people who have submitted like a comic, and they might have accidentally like infringed on a copyright or something like that. So we can't give them an award. We can't say that they won, but we're able to give them, something as like a consolation typically. And then we always have, every year we do like a virtual training where everyone gets together and we go over everything so that everyone is on the same page. Why starting small works. So this started very small. This is the part that's really for libraries when we do this presentation. So it's for the organizations. We presented to a lot of different libraries about what we do. Starting small. Start small. Like, we kind of leverage your system sort of goals. Like, how do you make it about literacy? How do you make it about education? And you really have to find a way to sell that in your with your organization. But luckily, working for the library is not like working for Amazon or something like that. So we can get away with a lot. And getting buy-in didn't take too long for us once the program really got started. So this section, the contest has really grown, and it's grown with input of the community. There are a lot of places to go. There's a lot of people, a lot of different organizations, sponsors that you can reach out to, and you'll be surprised at what they're willing to donate for like a prize or something like that. But there's also a lot of cheap in-house ways to get things done. So when we were looking at this program, we had the contest, but we wanted supportive programming around it, and we had to sort of build that out. So we do a lot of readers advisory. So we'll create a bunch of lists. We do a lot of blog posts. We'll do writing prompts for people who, to give people an idea, like maybe they want to write something about a specific topic. And then, we try to incorporate games. We try to incorporate manga. We'll celebrate like all of those fandom events. Like, you might have Batman Day, or like Eisner Week is always a big one for us. We'll do free comic book day every year, which is a big part of the program. And, we've been lucky enough to have a sponsor in Elusive Comics, which is like a local comic shop who does a lot of the ordering for the libraries. And so on free comic book day, we have giveaways at every single library location in the city, and we promote the contest. And then there's always opportunities like this, MAGWest, Fan of May, and all of our local cons that we go to. This bit is just about instruction and education. So this is why we do this. How does this fit into like the library's mission? And really, our goal is to fill in gaps in primary education. And as I think everyone is aware, arts programs, music programs, those kinds of things have been canceled. Budgets are always getting cut, and especially in San Jose. So this was a way that we were able to offer something that was fun and creative and could help bolster sort of literacy skills in our community. We create the supportive program so that we connect people to professionals, so they get like actual education from people who are experts, people who have been through the process, who have actually published a comic. There's always that component where it helps people figure out sort of and see all of the different opportunities that exist for you as someone who might do illustration or graphic design. We have had people. We had R.J. Palmer one year. He actually worked on a Pokemon movie, so he did a bunch of the storyboards for the CGI Pokemon movie that came out. So like early maybe 2012 or something like that. So there's a lot of different sort of career paths that you can take, as an illustrator, and I don't think it's always apparent to, especially the kids that are in the contests, what they actually can do with their artwork. And then, we always are trying to give them the feedback and review what they're doing so that they can improve their skills. And we have just noticed that the overall quality of our submissions over the course of 16 years has really improved. It went from something that was kind of like an afterthought, I think, in people's mind, to something that a lot of these contestants plan for every year. And so we just get some really, truly amazing artwork at this point. And then this goes, it's in tandem, so it supports our summer learning program. And summer learning is, for those of you that don't know, is always in June and July in the summer in the city. So over the years, we have added some components to our contest to try to level it up. So that's what this is about. The biggest thing for us is the awards ceremony. So this is always a really fun event. If you just think, we usually get anywhere from 200 to 300 comic submissions in the contest. And some of those the majority are individual authors, but you get a lot of people that are collaborators. And so you'll get a lot of brothers and sisters that put a comic together or something like that. And, if you get 200 or 300 submissions and then you start to think about the family, this event has gotten very, very big over the years. And it's just a really nice way to celebrate all of the work that they've done, and to just kind of honor them and celebrate the participants. We always display everyone's work, so we will create a slideshow of images that we'll display somewhere in the room, or we will print things out and we'll actually hang them around, just so that everybody gets to see their artwork blown up and big and in some kind of an impressive manner. Always got to have snacks. Super important. If you do anything at the library, you got to have snacks or nobody will come. That's number one. And then we try to find talent that will come that can really inspire our participants in the contest. So I think we've gone from being very local to now we have an actual speaker budget where we can hire people, we can pay people to come in, and we've gotten some pretty excellent speakers in the last few years. Yeah, so this is where to spend your money, kind of. Definitely want to spend your money on prizes, incentivizing anything you can do. So we've always had prizes for the contest. Typically, they're going to be gift cards, art supplies, something that's related to comics and art. We will always give them an official certificate signed by the director of the library. It will let them know, if they place, that kind of thing. We do get quite a few donations now. So over the years at the different conferences or the connections, quite a few different publishers are very generous and willing to lend or willing to donate a lot of comics. So typically everybody gets several graphic novels, several comics, a bunch of different prizes, and then even the participants, even the people that don't participate in the comic or that don't win, they're able to get a participation prize as well. Everyone gets a printed copy of the booklet that we put out, so they can keep that forever, and then we also add that to the library collection. And but the best thing, prizes and snacks. That's where you always want to put your money. Biblioboard. So this is a online collection that we have that is customizable, and you can find it on the library's website, and it has all of the different contests that we've done historically have been collated and then added to this. So we share this online, and everybody can see it, and everybody can say that they are a published comic creator, and it's a good alternative to printed booklets as well. Cosplay on display. I kind of talked about the cosplay thing, but initially we did not have cosplay as part of it, and we found that the overlap, obviously, between comics and cosplay is pretty huge, and everybody loves to dress up. So now it's a featured part of our awards ceremony. We always have one or two cosplay groups that will come, and they'll do photo ops with the kids. They will spend the day I think this year we actually had a random like ROTC group that dropped by, and they wanted to do photo ops with all of our different cosplayers, which we had it was like the 501st. They were a Star Wars troop, and so it was pretty fun to see. And then with cosplay on display, the big thing is when you submit your picture, you take a picture with your library card. So it gives us something to promote as well. And yeah, we always feature those photos, and we invite the cosplayers to come to the award ceremony to just be a part of the whole thing. That's pretty much what we have for graphic novel making contest. I think presentation's probably a little shorter than I was thinking it was going to be, but if you have any questions, now is the time. Does anyone have any questions about the contest? Okay, well, if you think of anything, I'll be hanging out for a little bit. My name again is Kyle Burkett. I am with the San Jose Public Library. I'm a senior librarian, and come on up and see us sometime on the 3rd floor if you ever want to. And while you're here, go stop by the library's table. If you don't have a library cards are free. You can get one, and we have a ton of different swag up there to give away to people. So thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.